Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. We have a phenomenal guest, a great topic. We're talking about headshots, digital branding, coming soon marketing, a whole bunch of stuff. We've got a special guest with us today, Preston Zeller, and we'll get to him in a second. While we wait for people to join us live, just want to speak to anyone that's watching the replay right here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. That way you get all of our future goodness, as well as iTunes and Stitcher, if you prefer the audio versions, nestled right here between your ears where we so belong.
Nestled.
But right now, I'm joined by the co-pilot, the junior grandmaster himself, Greg McDaniel. Greg, what's up today?
Matt, you big Mac Daddy pimp you. I'm so glad to be back here. It is a beautiful freaking Monday morning, and we are just going to make this show our biznatch. We're going to cover some shit that people probably are not going to be, aren't talking about. We're going to blow the doors off it. We have the legendary Preston here. This guy is a man, the myth, and the legend, all wrapped into one human ball of goodness, and so we're so glad to have him on. And Matt, I got to say, man, we are blessed with amazing folks that are watching and following our show. I get calls all the time. It's like I've done like emergency, MCC calls throughout the weekend. I've did a Saturday and a Sunday, 2 Sunday calls and a Saturday call. I'm blessed and honored that people will reach out and talk to me and use me as a sounding board. And what they're doing is they're actually putting into action, Matt, an agent that works. Holy shit! The world is falling. The sky is it. That's what we're done. If an real estate agent works, holy shit.
Retreat to your bomb shelter. Clearly the world is ending and hell is frozen over.
I just got a call from Satan. Yes, it is -5 degrees in hell. We are in trouble. But overall, dude, I'm gonna show you guys when we do the shout out somehow how awesome our viewers are. So overall, as you can see, I'm having a very awesome day as always.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, and we're excited. So Preston, what's up today?
Dude, there's a lot of things going on, but that opening was epic in and of itself, by the way. But that's a show in and of itself, just openings that you guys do. No, it's great to be on with you guys, and yeah, Greg and I had the opportunity on the initial podcast I had done, kind of as the follow-up to the 10 headshot tips. And then, yeah, I got hooked up with you guys both, and I'm just stoked for what we get to talk about today. And it's gonna get crazy. I know that.
That's right. Shit's gonna get real, man.
That's right. I'm sure we'll make fun of some horrible branding mistakes that agents have all made, and maybe some that we've made, including Greg. I don't know. We'll get
I
to
don't
that.
make mistakes. Matt, you know I don't make mistakes.
No,
we've talked about this.
No.
My last one was
never mind that your logo violates what is it? What's the number 8 rule? Was it time? Where was timeliness? True to real life. There we go. Number 8 on Preston's top 10 list. Oh yeah.
That is a handsome SOB right there. Thank you very much. Just 16 years my junior, still damn good looking. This never gets old, pal. Okay, this is the moneymaker
right here. This is the moneymaker. That's right. Okay. All right. So let's get started with a question that is off topic from what Preston has written about and the article that he has coming soon coming up in Inman. So it's we're going to talk about coming soon listings. So there was a question in the Lab Coat Agents Facebook group that caught my eyes from Elizabeth McDermott, and she said some agents in our MLS are having a problem with coming soon marketing. In fact, one says, I'm a part of a group that feels like placement of coming soon signs in a client's yard potentially could violate NAR's code of ethics, harm the seller by not receiving the best deal possible, and damage our professional reputation as realtors. Of course, she personally disagrees, but wants to know what the group thinks. So I'm curious. Let's bounce that question to both of you guys, starting with Greg. What do you think of coming soon marketing in general?
Well, I think anyone who doesn't like it is a fucking retard. But you know what? I'll tell you one thing. Coming soon, there's nothing wrong ethically, morally, or professionally about marketing a property coming to the market. Doesn't mean that you have to accept an offer or do anything before going to the market or not honoring your agreement with them that you'll go certain days after hitting the market to look at offers. What you're doing and what your fiduciary relationship is and responsibility to the seller is to get the highest and best price and terms for the sale of that property. So marketing it up front, in front of most people as humanly possible, does nothing but do something positive for that client. Now, for me, what I do, as you guys may or may not be aware of, I'm kind of a fan of video. I know that's new. It's something I'm just kind of letting people know about. But I take my handy-dandy little iPhone, which I think I show Matt almost on every episode. I'm so proud of my phone. But you know what I do is I go shoot a coming soon video. So I take the like I've always shown you guys, I take the video, I switch it to the front camera here, turn it sideways, not vertical, sideways, and then I go like this, and I talk and I show people the property behind me. Now that there's Facebook Lives available, I do a Facebook Live for upcoming properties that we have. Because what happens is that it's a digital open house, and it's a preview, and it's recorded. So if another agent or a buyer, sees it somewhere, they can now go, oh my gosh, it's not just still photos. I understand what the property looks like, feels like, the whole 9 yards. Every single time I do this, I get hundreds, if not thousands, of views on that video because I tag my entire team, I tag my brokerage, I tag my lender, I tag my sellers. If the sellers have kids of appropriate ages, I tag their kids, so that everybody and everything that has an eyeballs and a heartbeat, that can see this thing and get exposure to it will help us market the property. I have agents calling me, when can I take a look at it? It's amazing. I have buyers saying they're looking in the area. I have people reaching out to me, and it does nothing but positive exposure. So whoever doesn't think it's a good thing, you're a fucking tard. And you should not hire them. They're a shitty agent.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I'm coming at it from the marketing perspective, and of course, I'm like, hey, the more marketing, the better, right? So,
exactly.
So Preston, what's your perspective on it?
I kind of look at this in relation to other industries, right? When you say you look at a music album or album release, right, for an artist, I mean, it's not like you just find out that day through, trade magazines that your favorite artist just released an album. That's asinine. I mean, they would. It's
a quick way to sell 0 albums.
Exactly.
Or 1 to your mom.
That's like, oh great, my launch day, I sold 10 albums to my grandma. Like, it's just, it makes no sense. You hear about it. I mean, movies are a prime example of this as well. But I mean, the point is, they do marketing in such a way that fits that industry, and they do it for a certain period of time leading up to the formal release. So in our case, the house going live. And it being available for official sale. So why you wouldn't want to use pre-listing materials and marketing materials in the right way doesn't make much sense to me. Obviously, be compliant with your certain local guidelines, realtor guidelines, or MLS guidelines, but that just hoping that you release it day one and then watching the view count meter go up. There's a lot more that can be done prior to it that, like you were pointing out, Greg, helps in the fiduciary relationship. So.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to be out of the box. You got to be aggressive. You got to, put it out in front of them. Now, if you say you're gonna, for us, we have brokers who are on Thursday, so the property comes on Wednesday afternoon. That's when I do the video and all that stuff. But if you agree with the seller and you put it in the MLS, confidential notes that you're not going to look at offers or take, until Monday at 5, so you can go through the weekend. If you honor that, so you give everybody the opportunity to get their clients in and see it, and don't take a quicker offer, and you own up to what like I said, your original responsibilities and agreements were, there's nothing wrong with this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because you're still giving everybody the same amount of time to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and how many times have agents said, like, your first offer is almost always your best offer?
80%.
Right? Yeah. So let's say you get that first offer on a Thursday right after the broker's tour. Great. Like, I mean, yeah, hold it open for that first weekend, and see if any other offers come in. But odds are, like, one of those either that first offer or the one right after that is going to be as good as you're going to get. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, especially if you actually are using coming soon marketing and you're getting a lot of exposure right in that first week, why would you hold it on the market any longer than you have to when you've already got a good offer in hand? So
exactly.
As long as, like you said, you're being compliant, giving people a legitimate chance, but if we could all just throw a home on the market for a week and get it sold and have 5 offers on it, we would do that. Like, that year-long listing agreements don't exist because realtors want to have a home on the market for a year because we think we're going to get the best offer 6 months into the listing. That doesn't exist.
But it's so much fun to have those, hour-long, 2-hour-long conversations with your sellers, and they don't know why you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and they're starting to lose faith in you, and you're 6 months deep, and boy, isn't this fun? No. No. When they're having,
it's like, well, I can hold another open house that nobody will show up for.
No,
because you're $13,000 overpriced.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I literally have a client right now. I feel so bad from the stress of selling their home. We came on a little bit high for the market, but he still wanted to try. And the stress of this, which is a little over the top, but he actually went to the hospital, into the emergency room, had to go have emergency surgery on God knows what went wrong with him because of the stress of selling the home. I'm like, guys, calm. Look, just listen to me. We got to do a price reduction. You're not going to lose. Don't stop losing your shit. It's okay. But dude, people take it so much more difficultly.
They take it harder?
Yep. They take it harder than we do because it's not ours, right? We're not emotionally invested into it. But imagine if they look back on it and you say, look, guys, look at all the pre-marketing, look at all the marketing, look at every avenue I've accomplished and everything else. The agent who doesn't do the pre-marketing can't say that, and maybe it will kill the client, and that's horrible.
That is true. And that's a great example to bring up in a listing presentation.
I only hospitalize mine.
Yeah, that's right.
Just a couple
Greg
weeks.
McDaniel, not killing clients since 2001. Yeah, there's a really top agent. He's the top guy at Windermere down here in San Diego, a guy named Dan Beer. And he has like a 5-day blitz program where they'll put the market on, I think they put it on either a Wednesday or a Thursday. They do like 400 or 500 calls out to the neighborhood, another 250 or 300 postcards and mailers going out to neighbors, like all before, like a lot of that stuff takes place before the house officially hits the MLS on the Thursday, I think, if I remember the way he's got it structured, to pack and then they only open it for like on a window. Like you cannot see it on Thursday or Friday. You can only see it like on, I think it's like 3 hours on a Saturday and then maybe another hour on a Sunday. They've got it like structured out. But I mean, imagine if you're doing that much marketing like pre your first weekend that it's open. I mean, how is that not serving the client as well as they possibly can?
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. And yeah, we do something similar on calls. And Preston, I want to hear if you do the same thing. We do about 1,000 calls around the home. We do 250 mailers, circle prospecting around the property. We do door knocking, another 200 around the property. We do social media within a certain radius of the property, all prior to coming for the first one. So that's a very effective method. Preston, are you guys doing something like that up in your marketplace, or?
Yeah, I mean, certainly mailers to some degree. We'll do door knocking. I mean, I'm not particularly part of a team, so it's basically like if I don't pull the trigger on it personally, it's a little bit different there. But yeah, and then you were mentioning targeting people. Are you doing a mileage radius and a zip code for social media, or what were you saying there?
Yeah, there's a thing for CAR. I will try to look it up while we're on the podcast. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a radius around the property, and it's actually incredibly effective. I'll start hunting it for you while you start talking in a few minutes, and I'll get it out for everybody. I'm not sure if it's going to be in every state. I know it's for California Association.
Okay.
But it's pretty. We tried it. Dude, I was a little hesitant, but bro, it does great work. You get legit leads, and after you look at what it provides to you, it's like, fuck yeah, why wouldn't I want to do this?
And this is a social media blast, you said, using CAR?
Today. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, 'cause I'm curious now if I'm not going to get too off track here, but if my organization, my board has that.
Yeah.
We'll dive into this.
While you look for that, Greg, I'll give a couple of shout-outs real quick,
Cool.
and then after you find it, we'll give your shout-out. So, number one, just want to let everybody know, just a quick thank you to Viral Marketing for helping make hangouts and podcasts like these happen. So they're the ones that run Greg's real estate video blog there in the Bay Area and do a fantastic job. So if you're interested in having that kind of service done for you to generate referrals and repeat business, check them out at getviral.com. And then Jeff Cohn's team building workshop. That's eliterealestatesystems.com. Check out the workshops there. So if you want to build a dominant real estate team, that's a phenomenal workshop where you actually come and visit Jeff's kick-ass office in Omaha, Nebraska, where he's built the #1 team in the state and did 580 sides last year. So be sure to check those two things out. So did you find it yet, Greg?
I didn't, Matt. I'll look through it throughout it. Gmail's been being a bitch lately, and I can't find shit. It's like hiding it from me on purpose or something.
So what? But okay, refresh our memory on what it is that you're talking about. Not necessarily where to find it. We'll put that in the show notes. But
so what it is, it's a website that you can pay a fee. I think there's like a 99, a 199, and like a 2 or 399 for a certain amount of days. It'll be exposing the home into a specific radius around the home. Basically, it's like
exposing it on what?
Huh?
Exposing it on what?
Oh, social media and on the web. Predominantly on social media, on Facebook.
So are they using the Facebook and then the Google Display Network or something?
Dude, don't ask me questions I can't answer.
Okay. So you'll find it and you'll get back to us. You'll just be you'll be like hunched over your computer for the next half hour and then we'll find it.
I'm like, right. What'd you say, Matt?
I was going to say one thing in addition to that you could do, because I know for me when I do listings, they usually has its own website. And that has the videos and photos and all that kind of stuff on it. And, along those lines, you could do a promoted ad on a promoted post on Facebook and, basically geo-target an area. That's another way you could do it. So,
if you target them by zip code and then by demographics from there.
Yeah, that's probably how you would do it. I mean, you can't get as nitty-gritty as, drawing a polygon, although... Yeah. I believe that's kind of the next step for Google is doing hyper-localized advertising.
That'd be interesting.
To the extent where, conceptually, if I show a history of searching for homes in a certain area and I'm on my phone and I'm driving through this, what is it, geofencing, I think.
Oh,
so
I love geofencing.
I drive through that geofence and pops up in my search or whatever that even with Google Now on Android, right? All these different cards that'll pop up, but even on there, hey, here's this open house, home for sale, however you might want to do it there. So.
Son of a bitch. All right, let's move forward.
All right, shout outs, Greg.
Yo, shout outs. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Big Josh, man, thanks for the super kind words and the shout out on Facebook you gave me today, man. I'm so pumped. One, you're actually hitting the doors. You're finding them to be incredibly enjoyable. You're meeting great folks, and you're just making it your bitch, man. That's so, so awesome. Also, keep up the good work, guys. Stevie out in Florida had a great time talking with you on Saturday. Dude, she's a young gal. She's out there. She's been in the business for about 6 months right now. And dude, she tripped and stumbled onto this ridiculously awesome deal where she's showing all these rentals. Like the company's just giving her all these rentals. She's making a killing doing that, and we're working on how to get her into home sales. But she's just murdering it in this little niche in the rental. So keep up the awesome work. You're going to be amazing. And then Michael Lucy, sorry, dude. Sunday night. This is why dyslexia sucks. Sunday night we had a great chat. He's in the car industry, and he got into it, and he and I were kind of picking each other's brains about kind of the business, and I gave him a rock star idea what he could do with Facebook Lives, and he got so excited about it. He emailed his business partner, and he's just like, yeah, and he took off and running with it. But Sandy and Larry, you guys out in Hawaii, you big pimps, they are now doing videos that we talked about on our call we did last Thursday together. They're showing me Hawaii, dude. I'm starting to fall in love with Kauai. I think it's Kauai and area that I don't worry, I can't say it, so I just call it. And offended every single Hawaiian.
First of all, you've managed to offend entire genders while we're on the show, but now you've managed to offend an entire state and possibly an ethnic group along with it. It's impressive.
Hey man, I am always aiming to get better at insulting people. Dude, William tonight in LA, dude, I get to hang with him, bro. Super pumped. He and I are gonna just knock it out of the park. And then Bonnie. From Facebook, so happy that we were able to talk. Thank you for taking time out of your out of your Sunday, and it was your husband's birthday, to talk with me for a few minutes. And I'm really looking forward to do the McDaniel Challenge with you. Now, this is what I love, guys. I was sent this by Annette, and this says, congratulations on 3,000. She and I were doing a McDaniel Challenge, and I had hit my 3,000th friend on it, so she sent me a bouquet of edible treats, which are going home with me tonight and will never be seen from again. So, those are my shout-outs, man. I have awesome people coming down the pipe and just awesome, awesome folks. Keep up the chats, guys. I love hearing from you, okay? And if to do that, you need to take action. You need to do what? Matt, what should they do? What should they do?
Well, they should take the McDaniel Challenge.
They should take the McDaniel Challenge, Matt. You write like you read my mind. So, guys, use this thing. Use my phone. Remember, sequential order. That's the important part here. It has to be in the right order. Phone number, 925-915-1978. That is my private cell phone. Hashtag Greg. Do not let Greg spend the night alone. And get on the books, guys. My next opportunity for any type of chalking is May 23rd, guys. Holy sheep shit. It is jumping out there, so take advantage. Get on it. It's an hour and a half to 2 hours of free coaching. There's no charge, no gimmicks, no gags, no tripwires. Oops, congratulations. Now you owe me $150. No, it's free. You're going to make a friend, and you're going to get some free coaching. You're going to walk out with a customized coaching program or plan just for you. And if you guys want to hit up some of the people that have done it before, they'll all be telling you that if they put it into action, they make money. So if you want to make money, just get on the challenge. Stop being yourself. Get off the fence.
I like it.
All right. And then if you want to help support the show, check out McDanielRealEstateSystems.com. There's a couple cool things. Number one is the free scripts.
Free scripts.
Greg's favorite scripts. That is for free right on the website. The link is right at the top. Right next to that link is a link for the farming video course. There's 10 videos plus 2 bonus videos that you can check out on how to start a geofarm. That is a whole 99 smackaroos, so that's a ton of content from us for that very, very, very low amount. And then if you want to just help support the show and the gals that help with all the behind-the-scenes stuff, go to patreon.com/REU podcast, and you can donate per month there. So with all of that out of the way, I'm excited to get into the bulk of what we have to say so that Greg will stop talking and start talking.
Greg, shut the fuck up. We're so tired of you. Our ears are bleeding.
All right, so Preston, catch us up on what was the story, so that if everyone doesn't know, the reason we're having you on is you wrote basically the top article, your first time out with Inman. You wrote a killer article called 10 Headshot Hints to Make Them Look Twice. And so what was the story behind the genesis of that, and why you decided to go with more of a data-driven approach rather than the typical approach, which is, hey, that looks good to me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my background, as you guys know, but for the rest of the viewing audience, is in marketing and online funnels and all that kind of stuff. So basically the things that you would probably want to know before getting into real estate, if you could, which is giving me a unique look on that. But so the data-driven side, as marketers, which we all are, you need to be data-driven. It's not enough just to put up a website. It's not enough just to get a headshot taken. You should know, because we have the resources at our disposal nowadays, you should know what do people really think of what I'm putting out there. You can't really, do the camel head in the sand and just think that's okay. So I had come across a tool on, oddly enough, actually a startup forum for the Portland metro area. And I came across a unique tool that allowed you to test your photo. Mm-hmm. So, and the more I got into the data of what the testing actually was, the more I realized a couple things. One, this is fantastic, and two, my headshots sucked. So, when I went around to redo my headshots, which I had been kind of putting off, I got it done through a very affordable service, but whatever way you get it done is great. And I got it done in such a way where I could incorporate some of the data that I had learned in doing my research. And this was really just pursuing the data to make sure that I had a great photo. So I got the photos done, tested them, and could see absolutely there's a direct correlation between the data that I had studied and what I had applied to my own photos. And I was able to get my scores up, and we can go over those sections later, into mid-90s, and then one was mid-80s. And so I'm like, there's something here. So when I reached out to Inman, I'm like, hey, I think there's a unique twist on headshots that I can add. And that's where the data came in. I think this hit home with a lot of people more than maybe just a, don't look like a douche in your photo type of thing.
To say that would be Greg's advice. Don't look like a douche. I can see the quote graphic right now floating across your Instagram feed. Just don't be a douche.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there about how real estate agents should or shouldn't look in a photo, but I think despite that, there's obviously still a lot of photos that aren't doing yourself any service, or that, they may be hurting more than they're helping. So, yeah, that's where I wrote the article, and it ended up being in the top 5 for about 2.5 weeks, and it got over 1,100 interactions on Facebook, and 340 shares on LinkedIn, and some pins thrown in there.
Unbelievable. If we want to talk about like headshots, we should bring up Matt's headshot where it looks like he's scowling at everybody.
Well, that is a great time to bring up number 4, which is smile with teeth, because that's one thing that in that particular headshot I did not do, and I learned my lesson. And the last round of headshots I did. But yeah, there was an old photo taken that Greg is referring to where I thought I was smiling, and I literally put it up, and everybody's comment was, "Why are you so mad? Like, who are you? Who punched your child, one of your 3 12-pound babies before you took that photo?" Like, well,
Matt, show him blue steel. Show him the goodness, buddy.
Yeah, no.
Come on.
Blue steel. You got it.
He really did. He was like this, guys. He was like this. And I'm like, why are you so angry, man? Someone feeding you Cheerios? What's going on?
Yeah, smile with teeth.
But not like you want to eat the person. Nice, friendly with teeth.
No, exactly. One thing that struck out to me was the slight eye squinting, which ever since I've read that, I've been more aware of that, and I've realized that I tend to, especially if I'm tired, I will tend to widen my eyes while I'm looking at somebody. Yeah. And that's something that I've, that's not just, there's lessons here that you can apply to real life, not just to your headshot, because what builds competence and trust and likability through a headshot is the exact same things that build it in person, right? Mm-hmm. So that's something I've been more aware of, which is to squint my eyes a little bit and make sure that I'm not widening them too much. So there's all kinds of these little hints in there that are really good, not just for the headshots, but just in general. But so I'm curious kind of how you arrived at those 10 things. And what were some of the data behind those that were interesting?
Yeah, so this is kind of a combination of, I pulled many of the conclusions from what PhotoFeeler, which is the service who does the voting.
That's PhotoFeeler, right?
Feeler, yeah, PhotoFeeler. I read their research, and then I also went through a bit of the University of New York study. Buffer app took the University of New York study, which was really, really technical and scientific, and they kind of broke it down into a bit more of a digestible article. And the main takeaways are what I wanted to boil down was what you see here. I mean, there are so many things that if you really, kind of thought about and meditated on what they actually mean and how you should look, it might be overwhelming. Mm-hmm. But the key to take away from me, that I took away from all this, especially in real estate, is that this to me is a low-hanging fruit. It is not that hard to have a fantastic headshot that looks way better than your competitors.
Well, some people it is.
Yeah.
Offense number 2.
What are you saying? Right, so if Clint Howard jumped into real estate, he might have a little bit of a harder time?
Yeah, just slightly.
Okay.
But anyone can take these, any age, and they can go get their headshots redone and test them. That's the biggest thing. Don't just get them redone and follow these steps, but actually test them and then put them out there, see what the results you get, and then bam, you can be confident that you're using a headshot that people respond well to. I mean, one of the things I pointed out in the article is there were a couple headshots that I really liked of myself, but they didn't work out in the end. The one that I thought, I wasn't super stoked on it, that was the one people resonated with the most.
Really?
So, yeah, it's just, and that just goes to show what you think about yourself is not necessarily what other people think about yourself.
Here's my quick theory on that, right? So there's three spectrums that you're measuring this on. So this is really interesting to me. So it's competence, likability, and influence. I would venture to guess, just thinking about myself, as I do often, because me and Greg are both wild narcissists, right? I mean, that's why we do a podcast, so why not? So I was just thinking about how what would I look for in my own headshot, right? So I think it probably goes back to you would probably, as yourself, you would value one of those things higher, right? You would value whether it's likability, depending on what your securities and insecurities are. Like you see a picture of yourself and you go, oh, I like that one. You might be looking for likability. But if you're a new agent, you might be going more for competence because that's your insecurity, right? You're not confident in your competence in the industry, so you want to come off as competent, and like you tend to choose a headshot that's more stiff and formal, right? So I think that like the things that we're secure or insecure about, like directly impact what we're looking for in a headshot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I actually went and tested the headshot site. And I was amazed. I took one of my new ones, and I was you get to build up credits. So you can do up to 10 credits is like you get your basic version, and a credit is you vote on other people's.
Right, yeah.
And it was amazing what my initial thought pattern would be of anyone on their photos. You're like, ooh, I don't like that. I like this. I don't like that. And then I would like certain aspects of other people. Other people, I would just give them 10s all across the board. Naturally, those are all the super hot chicks. But. No, but reality speaking is like I would get like really mixed emotions on it, and then they would do the same to me. So I think I got 20 credits. I devoted 20 people, and then I came back in the top 80 percentile in all three fields. But I was wondering why I couldn't have gotten to the 90th or higher. And it was really interesting some of their thoughts and what their patterns were on thinking about your photo. And I thought it was an awesome photo. Like one of them, I was slightly tilted over, like I was leaning slightly. They're like, I wish you could stand up straighter. I'm like, I am standing up straight, ass.
Yeah. Everybody always has something to say.
Yeah, I know. Chatterboxes.
All right. So let's talk about the formal dressing and. Yeah.
Let me add something, sorry, real quick to what you were saying, Greg, because I remember on one of our other shows, someone else had done a test and they did 10 votes, and I made a follow-up video to this article because there are some things I wanted to clarify, and that may be a whole other Inman article in and of itself. But one of the things I clarify in this article is that you got to do at least 40 votes to get a realistic measure. Otherwise, what I had seen happen, because once you let it go and you're going to get the 40 or 80 votes, then you're kind of sitting there going, okay, refreshing and seeing what people are voting.
It's so addicting. It's so true.
Yeah, it's like, how vain am I? But you do sit there and you're watching this thing, and there were times where I went really high, and there were times where I started really low. But at the end of 40 votes, that's where they say you get statistically accurate results. Whereas I know below that you can get 10, 20, and then I think you can do a custom amount as well. But I think the point is doing enough to where you're actually you're getting a really good result, and you can be confident in that, instead of if you do too little, then you may be kind of cheating yourself because it's not a big enough sample.
But the sad thing is that when I got my first 10, I ranked really high. Then I got my next 10, I came down a little bit. I'm like, what the fuck? No, I don't want to. So I don't want to do another. I'm scared to where I'm going to land.
Well, it's that sampling of people, because again, that could be flipped. You could start low and you go, man, why does this photo suck? And then it gets higher and you go, oh, it's actually not as bad as I thought. So it's I think it's just getting a good enough sample size so you know for sure. We do the same thing when we're split testing for, say, a landing page, and you're doing like the different color of buttons on a landing page, and you're going to see, okay, is the red or the blue getting more people to click? I think we have to get 100 conversions before we can say this was the statistical winner.
Yeah.
Because the deviation could still be great enough to throw it off if it's too early. So. And
the most important thing, like you and I talked about on the last show we did together, and it's it's like you said a minute ago, it's not about what you actually think about your photo. It's about what the people perceive it as, because when you're sleeping, when you're on vacation, when they're looking at you online, they're seeing that image, and they're going to like you or not like you based upon that. So if you can get out of your own way, which I'm regrettably going to do, and get my another 20, and then see where I land on my scores. But if people are liking it, then they're going to like you, trust you, and want to do business with you. So be able to, not be Matt and, not smile with teeth. People don't react that well. Or like me, don't tilt over, But if you get told this stuff, then you can only become more attractive to people when they're out hunting for you. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they just want you want more business, flat out, right? So one more time, Preston, what's that site again?
Photo, just normal way you would spell it, PHOTO, Feeler, FEELER.com.
Yeah, take a look at it, guys. It is a lot of fun to play with, and it will put your ego in check, I guarantee you.
Yeah, you're definitely going to... I had actually one of those closed-mouth kind of smug shot-looking photos, and like, it's really good, I love it. And then it didn't make the cut.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you... Yeah, speaking of like being a musician, like if you come up with like if your real estate headshot you would also like to use as like your album cover, probably not, like that doesn't need to be your real estate headshot. Like if you think it looks cool, it's probably the last thing you need to use for real estate.
Right.
So I just pulled up my photo feeler account, and I'm 70% competent, 86% likable, and 71% influential. So it's not bad, but it's not great either.
What are you wearing in that, by the way? Is it your black and white photo, or not your black and white, but is it the photo of you in like blue?
Yeah, the same image that we use for everything, but the color version. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So you don't have a tie. That's probably one thing that hurts your competency or whatever and your influence, and then it's a blue shirt rather than like a black shirt or a white shirt.
Yeah. What were you saying, Preston?
The good thing about that is, and hopefully more people do what you're doing, and they put their photo up there, and they just want to see, how bad is it really? so you can go, great. Hey, at least I know where I stand.
Yeah.
And I can fix the problem. It's just like anything, having a small leak and going, no, I'm just gonna ignore and make sure it goes away. Hope that it goes. But you can go, okay, well, these elements of the photo, I get they work. Now I'll just go do another shoot, and then you're gonna be like, I'm telling you, when I hand out my card, or people go to my site, or they see my photo, I'm like, yeah, great. I'm happy about it because I know it's helping my business, as opposed to being in a position of going, it's totally a confidence boost, and it can also work the opposite way for you, I think.
What are some of the tips and tricks that you also highlighted in that article that someone can go do maybe when they're doing a photo shoot? Maybe some things they should keep in mind, like keep their eyes open. What are some other good tips?
Yeah. So in addition to this, I guess, just in terms to achieve some of these things. So the slight eye squint, that usually comes from a natural laugh, right? Instead of a forced smile. I mean, when you're laughing, you have a smile that is genuine. If anyone's ever seen Lie to Me, the show, or there's a great TED Talk where this woman talks about lying and how to tell if someone's lying. And I think some of those items even come back in to what these things talk about and why people perceive you negatively or positively, because it's the genuineness that shines through. But certainly, if you can, have someone come with you who can actually make you laugh or tell funny jokes. Who's kind of that person on the sideline that's making you feel comfortable. Most people aren't comfortable in front of a camera, and that probably shows through. Try to get at least like 20 minutes in front of a camera to warm you up. Certainly, my better shots. As many times as I've been in front of a camera, it just takes a while to get a bit more comfortable in it, and you're not thinking as much about the camera or the light or whatever. Another one that I like to use is for your smile. When you go to look at the camera, right before you do, take a deep breath and then exhale and look at the camera as you're smiling, and it just relaxes your face, it relaxes your body. so you're not holding in any tension as well. So
Good tips.
I like that. Yeah, that is really good.
Yeah, so many people just get freaked out. They're all of a sudden this little dot, on the camera with the lenses. They're like, oh my God, I'm going to be judged for this or whatever else. Not really. Just have fun with it. And if you got a problem, just start drinking.
Yes, go for the bright red look that usually comes with a couple shots.
Exactly.
And
That's right.
Well,
This coming from Greg, whose profile picture is him holding up like
Two beers.
Two beers. But this
man.
is the Bay Area, so they're craft beers, of course.
No way.
Beers.
Those are
They're microbrews. Yeah.
I thought you said crap beers. I'm like, dude, now them fighting words, okay?
No. I would never insult you or your beer to your face.
You insult me daily.
Well, I do, but not your beer. But Preston, what you said about video is a perfect segue, because while we were talking off the air about some of the other developments that you're going to be writing about, it made me think of the fact that how important it is for agents to get comfortable with video because of the things that are coming down the pipe. So let's get into that a little bit. You've got an article coming out in Inman, I think it's in the next couple weeks, all about the virtual reality trend. So what do you say we dive into that a little bit?
Yeah. Let's get into this. So this is slated to come out April 21st on Inman. That's subject to change, but around April 21st. So that's a Thursday.
Okay.
That's going to be awesome, man. I cannot wait. Some of the stuff you were talking about off air with me and Matt, dude, this shit is going to be epic. Do you want to jump in on the sales, on the buyer side? How you're talking about a little bit how it's going to radically transform a buyer's agent's potential life?
Yeah. So so these people know, people listening. I had interviews with 4 major companies in the real estate space. Specifically having to do with virtual reality or a platform that is going to integrate virtual reality. So, and these were CEO of the company types. So, we had a pretty in-depth conversation. The way I start out the article is a sort of vignette about Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Mr. and Mrs. Smith are, they put their kids to bed, and a chime comes in on the TV. And it's their digital realtor. I'm coining that term, by the way. So it's their digital realtor. And,
I just trademarked it. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
And I bought the URL. So
that's right.
So their digital realtor. They're notified of a meeting with him. They walk in the family room, and they both put on a black virtual reality headset. So Roger, that's his name, greets them both in the virtual realm and explains to them that he has set aside 10 homes for them to experience. So Smiths are eager to get started. After 45 minutes, the home tour is complete, and the Smiths have Roger write up an offer for the favorite home. So if that's not awesome. The dream of any buyer's agent.
Dude, that would be epic.
And that sounds like kind of crazy, and it may to some people, but I mean the reality is, you even look at what Zillow has done. It's the whole democratization of data, right? There's more and more data and tools being put in the hands of the consumer. We're not relegated to you calling a real estate agent and them looking in the listings, the paper binder listings or something like that. I mean, look at real estate 30 years ago. And we're at that point where the trend line is going like this, and this is technology, and it's just going to hit this wall where it's straight up. Yeah. So it's scary to some degree, but from a real estate standpoint for this conversation, it's like that's where it's going for both the real estate agent and the buyer and the seller. Because, and we'll get into the seller conversation, but we're just going to have to change our game that much more over the years. And I'd be willing to bet that for the reasons people get into real estate now, those are going to change by the time virtual reality really comes into play.
Isn't that true?
You're just going to
the proliferation of agents who get into it to have their own little HD TV show.
Well, I mean, think about this. I mean, I applied to be in the Air Force like 6 years ago or something like that. And I applied at a time when I applied to be a pilot, and I applied at a time when I think they're RAP, remote assisted pilots. But anyways, drone pilots. That program was starting to get off the ground. They were only offering it to enlistees. Well, now it's a common thing. Well, okay, someone who wants to fly a freaking fighter jet and go 10 Gs, and someone who wants to sit in an AC room in Nevada, remote controlling a plane that's flying over
like Call of Duty in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Totally different mentalities, and I think, just as a sort of analogy, that's some sort of how we're going to experience, I think, real estate changing in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
So what you're kind of saying, so alpha males were typically, the top guns, Tom Cruise, the guys are out there going balls to the walls, living it on the edge, right? Mm-hmm. You'd be certain, physical condition, a certain mental condition, because you had to withstand those G-forces and other ailments out there. Now it's taking it and it's going the opposite direction where folks don't have to be in prime shape. They obviously have to have a certain knowledge base because they're operating a killing machine remotely. But so what are you saying about the real estate agents? Are you saying that the real estate agents potentially are going to be able to have the personality of a doorknob and still sell a lot of homes because they're doing it virtually? They don't actually have to interact with a client? Is that what we're saying? Is it?
No, not quite to that degree. I think the flying planes analogy is more so in the functioning of the role is different.
Okay.
That may be a bit more drastic because obviously flying a $100 million jet and then
right.
Technically, but and this is something that I asked every single person I interviewed. I said, are real estate agents at risk of becoming obsolete? At least now the resounding conclusion of that is no, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that you can't replace firsthand experience and expertise, and the fact that this is still going to be likely the biggest purchase that anyone makes in their life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those things aren't changing. It's the process of the transaction. It's the process of the home search, the home sale. It's those types of things where and I covered this in the beginning, but real estate's traditionally been, for all the changes that's gone through, it's requires you physically being there and experiencing the real estate to really make a sound decision. And that's for the majority. That's not including the person who's got deep pockets and buying things sight unseen, that type of thing. The majority of people have to go somewhere and experience the property. But if you could accomplish those things without necessarily having to be there, for the sake of efficiency and for the sake of just easiness,
mm-hmm.
That's where we are headed. We are in an on-demand society. We're in a culture that is increasingly going towards we want things to be just ready and easy to go. Going out and looking at 10 homes or 5 homes even is not easy. It's draining.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can do that, like I did in that vignette where they put the kids to bed and they go in the family room and 45 minutes later they're done, who wouldn't want to do that on both sides?
Dude,
that'd be awesome. It just makes it so much easier. So and you have technology companies that are really trying to pioneer this movement towards, making that a possibility.
I think it'd be amazing because you can, as a buyer's agent for the last 16 years, I mean, multiple times I've been showing clients, and I'm like, guys, I really don't think you're going to like this home based upon our conversations. They're like, oh, we still want to see it. I'm like, great, you don't listen to me, awesome. So we go to the house, and they walk in like, oh, I couldn't live here. I'm like, no shit. This is what I told you. But then if I could have been like, okay, Matt, Julie, your 3 obese babies, why don't we see if you can fit your kids through the front door? Why don't we do a virtual reality test really quickly, and we'll put them on a VR, and you know what, because Julie says she needs a big kitchen because she got big kids. So, Matt's like, God damn it, Greg.
my fake family is getting bigger by the minute.
Bigger. And no, Matt, it's not because they have big bones. But if I could show Julie that the kitchen was actually smaller than what the photos were, because I can put her in the VR experience and not have to spend time dragging them out, having to get 3 of these babies in and out of a car, watching Matt sweat, picking these things up, these little heifers, and then trucking them around, but they can get rid of it just through a VR. That would be an amazingly great opportunity. Preston, do you see also coming down the pipe potentially that not only is it going to be for the home, but like let's say, Preston, you and your wife are moving down to California, right? And you're moving to Danville, and you're like, God, Greg, we know you, like you, and trust you. You're the best agent on planet Earth. I can't believe other agents aren't like you. Sorry. But if I could say, dude, Preston, hey, buddy, check this out. Here, go to this VR format, and you can walk the city of Danville. You can experience the highlights, the notable and noteworthy things, in the area. And I mean, do you think that's coming down the pipe as well?
I mean, that to me seems like an inevitable endpoint, or I guess pit stop along the way is that mapping of streets type of thing. How that works is you could throw out some kind of conceptually based things, but yes, I think at some point that'll be more of a reality. Even Street View now is still. I mean, we've all used Street View to say, oh, okay, I can see the pictures of the house. What the heck is the neighborhood like? That does a fairly good job now. So, as we progress, and who knows what kind of technology, Google and those companies are working on to do that. Yeah, it's it's going to become.
Imagine when we have multiple drones above every neighborhood at all times. All that camera footage feeding. I mean, news companies having drones. The government having drones, and all that video footage feeding into somewhere. Imagine just Google having drones everywhere and being able to literally 3D map or virtual reality map at least the neighborhoods and all the cityscape stuff, so it wouldn't take the place of your internal walkthrough, right? But it would something like that would definitely take care of all the external stuff of getting to know the neighborhood and all the the walkable areas that make up the lifestyle of that neighborhood. Then the final piece is just the internal walkthrough. So that's coming.
They have Google Cardboard. I think it's like $25 or $45 per in Google Cardboard. It's a VR setup. It's actually pretty cool. My idea about that thing is like if you can get I think it's $25 or $35 a pop. Dude, go slap your branding on that bitch and send it out to prospective buyers. So that they're wearing your branding as they're walking through a virtual reality. Matt is grinning from ear to ear on the other. On the lower. He's just like unbelievable every time.
Just slap your branding on that bitch.
Okay, hashtag /your branding on that.
It makes so much more sense when you put it that way.
That's right. Just the sense of clarity I just got was impressive. Okay.
This could be, just to add on to that, for listing purposes, this could be a good way to actually improve your listing by showing not just like VR in the home, but VR out front. Walking on the driveway. I mean, that those kinds of things. To the extent you can, how that's going to work legally eventually, I don't know. I mean, but Google doesn't own the Earth. I mean, they go and do their whole. Yes, that we know of. But they go out and do Google Maps and stuff like that. So.
I actually have a buddy of mine that so the Google. Street views that we were talking about. I have a buddy that works over at Google, and he said for like $200 a home, he would be able to do a walkthrough of the home, just like if you're in front of a house, you're spinning that thing around up and down and everything. He did it for the home that we sold for him and his family. Dude, it was so cool. You could walk through the home. It was a little slower, but it was pretty damn cool.
That's what is it? Top Golf. That's what it is. Top Golf. You go look at that. They did that with Top Golf. All of their facilities, you can go through them with that technology. But I mean, that's basically the step before putting on a headset and being able to go through the whole thing. And I mean, so what it'll be, back to kind of the question about how does this affect how real estate agents interact? Well, it'll eventually get to the point where you are trained on how to actually do a home walkthrough or a home tour with virtual reality headsets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just going to be, and the interactive.
Well, and hopefully it'll get to the point where you outsource that. I mean, that's
Yeah, that's.
Granted, it could eventually get easy enough that you could do it on your own. But for God's sake, we can take photos with our iPhones, but no realtor has any business putting listing photos online that they took themselves with an iPhone.
That is crazy to me. But this
with their finger in the shot. Or
part finger. We got a little vignette here. One of the cool things to me about VR and real estate is, I mean, if I as a realtor wanted to go and create notes, I mean, I don't know if you've used one of these headsets. Basically, you have a little mark in the middle, and wherever you turn your head, it's not like you're, my initial thought was you're in a warehouse and you're walking around, and it's like you got to simulate the walking around. No, you're standing there and you point the dot wherever you want to go, and you're basically hitting a sensor and it's bringing you down that path. Or you can, they'll probably eventually have remote control where you kind of dictate how far you want to go forward. But if you were able to have hot spots throughout the house, and you could actually, put your sensor on that hot spot, and it'll pop up a note from your realtor saying, oh, this is the water heater. It was replaced 5 years ago. There's been no issues with it, that kind of thing. And just being able to, like you said, if you outsource that, or you were able to make notes where they can go and basically do the tour themselves, self-guided, but still get your feedback.
Right, but I mean, this would be a phenomenal job for a retired agent that doesn't want to work a lot, but still has the market knowledge of a home and what needs to get done. This would be awesome for them to go in and start making the notes for you for $100 a home, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's interesting because it's like the combination of virtual reality and augmented reality, like on top of each other.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that what you just said with like a retired broker who wants to make the notes for you. I mean,
right.
You'll have new real estate jobs pop up.
Yeah, or the agent who's out on maternity leave and she's bedridden, or she's having a rough pregnancy, she has to be bedridden for months. She can still be making money. Maybe she's a single mom, or if she's just bored out of her gourd. Or for anybody else, maybe this would be a great opportunity for an agent just getting into the business to learn what to talk about, without offending clients in a real live fire scenario like I do.
Greg McDaniel employing uncomfortably pregnant single moms since 2000.
I knew I had a niche in this life, Matt. I knew I had a calling.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, we are almost out of time on this thing.
We are out of time. Good Lord. Okay, so first of all, I want to make sure that people follow you, Preston. So your article is coming out 21st, 22nd of April on Inman. That's the new one on virtual reality. And then you've got your website, PrestonZeller.com, which everybody should check out because I think it's just a great example of how to do a real estate website correctly. It's a really well-designed site. And then, so tell us a little bit about the area that you're in. So if people want to send you referrals, they can, and how would they do that?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks. So I am in what's considered the Portland metro area. All that means is if you go to Portland, Oregon, you go across the river, you are now in Washington, and that's the area I'm in. It's Clark County, but primarily Vancouver, Washington, and surrounding areas, Camas, Washington, which a lot of Californians are coming up from. But I basically service most all of Clark County, and would very much appreciate any kind of referrals up this way, and at the very least, send someone to my site, and you can get resources and build a home search that way. So.
You guys obviously you can see that Preston is very, very, very tech savvy. He's very intelligent. You guys, if you're going anything up there, do yourself a big favor, your friends or family, contact him, have a talk with him. You will immediately know what I'm talking about. You guys, I have those sites. You want me to talk about those sites super quick before we got jump?
Yes.
Okay, one of them is justlisted.social/CAR. But this is the one that's a radius search. It's not going to go, to the 12-year-old on Facebook. It's going to go look for people that has advanced targeting. They're going to use it on the back end of Facebook. It's qualified people. And so go to justlisted.social/CAR, and you'll see this. And they have different examples of kind of what they're putting out there. But they have a 3 days for $99, 7 days for $199, and 14 days for $349. I found this to be very helpful for when we're getting new properties out there, and or if you wanted to do something like just sold or along those lines. The other one is social.pr. Social.pr. It's again on the back end. It's going to help you create, good ads, right? Ads that people want to interact with. It's coming from the point of view that Preston, what's your wife's name?
Danielle.
Preston and Danielle use the McDaniel Callahan team, and then it would basically look like it's coming from Preston or Danielle's Facebook page, promoting and touting the real estate team. We're seeing good results with these guys. So again, it is justlisted.social/car for the ads, and then social.pr for the kind of like self-promotion. So take a look at them. They're pretty neat. And then, guys, take the McDaniel Challenge once again, please. The reason why I do this is because I truly love all of you guys out there. I want to see you succeed in a shorter amount of time. And to do that, you need to get the coaching that every other person is going to charge you for. It is a free event, guys. There is no tricks, no scams, no whatever. It might be running around your head in today's day and age saying, well, nothing can be that free. It actually is. Try me. 925-915. 1978, again, 925, 915, 1978. Get off the fence, make the call, start making more money after talking to me for 1 or 2 hours, and we can have a couple of cocktails, sit back and relax, man. How hard is that? Shit. Free drinking and coaching? Oh.
Well, you do have to provide your own drinks, otherwise
Yes.
they're virtual.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Virtual drinks are a lot less fun. All right, guys. This has been awesome, Preston. We'd love to have you back again the next time you write an article on something tech savvy. This was one of the most fun episodes we've done in a while. So
yes.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm glad. Yeah, it's been good. I'd like to actually, once the article comes out, depending on what kind of questions there are, hopefully there's a lot, maybe field the questions on this show would be.
Dude, that'd be killer. Are you kidding me? Yes.
Yeah. You're in.
Let's do that.
All right,
I don't have to check with Matt. I'm just going to say yes.
Oh, you're just really you're making an executive decision. Okay. All right. I got you. All right. Cool, guys.
Cool.
All right. Well, for everyone else, I just want to quickly thank you so much for watching, and make sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, and then for the audio version, subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher. And we've got some freaking really big episodes coming up. So in the next 2 episodes, we've got Todd Miller on Wednesday. Todd is the former #1 in the world for KW back during the REO days. He is one of the first real estate agents that really got into video blogging back in the day, so we're talking about that. We're talking about how to take more listings, and then how to use his Homing In app to reach out to sellers to give them crowdsourced home valuations, and what might be the future of how people find agents in the very near future to list their homes. And then on Friday we have the man, the myth, legend, Jeff Cohn, who's going to talk about zero and low-cost strategies for real estate teams to generate leads. So 2 really big interviews in the next 2 episodes. So join us for those, Wednesday at 3, Friday at 11. Until then, everybody, thank you so much, and we will see you next.
And follow me on Facebook, people.
That's right.
All right, bye.